the Deputy Finance Minister. Yes, minority leader.
Speaker, with respect, I have followed the submissions of our colleague, the Deputy Minister of Finance. He has no submissions on his own, save that he keeps referring to submissions made by this side. But he's made a very fundamental submission that is in error. He contends, through his submissions, that ECG, there is some prudence and efficiency there. Mr. Speaker, what he is failing to tell this House is that this year alone, utility tariffs have gone up by over 18%. They have also, Mr. Speaker, all the tariffs that
Honorable
have
Minority
gone
Leader,
up.
you have your turn to debate.
No, Mr. Speaker, it's a point of order.
You have your turn to debate.
Mr. Speaker, it's a point of order.
If he says something that you said is not true, then you can interrupt.
Mr. Speaker, Speaker, with respect, I am on a point of order.
So what is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker.
What is the point of order?
Very well. Mr. Speaker, my point of order is grounded on the fact that he is misleading the House by presenting some facts that do not support the reality. What he is saying is that
I'm interested in hearing this.
Sure. What he is saying is that at ECG, they are getting more revenue now because of prudence to enable them pay their debt. Mr. Speaker, that is not correct and it's misleading.
Yes, so
and I'll
state the
explain to
correct
you why.
position.
Mr. Speaker, the revenue increase is as a result of the 18% tariff adjustment we have seen thus far. 2, on the issue of their ability to pay more to the IPPs, it's as a result of the 1 Ghana cedi levy they've imposed at the pumps, because they came here and said that because the energy sector was accumulating debts, they needed to impose
Minority
energy
Leader,
sector.
what is your point of order? Is it the case that the revenue is not increasing or it is not increasing?
Mr. Speaker, thank you for patiently inquiring. It is his contention that the revenue increase at ECG is as a result of prudent management. That is his contention. My rebuttal in terms of the misleading fact is that the revenue increase is as a result of the 18% tariff adjustment. It's not because of prudent management. 2, Mr. Speaker, 2, the IPPs that they are getting more money funds to pay them. It's as a result of the 1 Ghana cedi per liter of petroleum, that levy they introduced, the Dumso levy. It is as a result of that Dumso levy, because in your submissions before the House, when you brought the levy, your argument was that the energy sector was accumulating debt. Therefore, you needed to impose this 1 Ghana cedi per liter. So if you say there's prudent management...
With all due respect, this doesn't qualify within our rules as point of order. That is your opinion.
No.
He is also entitled to his opinion.
Mr. Speaker,
if you have the opportunity to debate,
Speaker,
you may do so. I do not consider this to be misleading the House subject matter or privileges by the rules.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, Mr. Speaker, with respect.
I recognize Honorable Ayariga.
Mr. Speaker, with respect.
I recognize Honorable Ayariga.
Very well, if that is your pleasure.
Mr. Speaker, when the minority leader rose up and caught your eye, you asked him, and he said he was rising on a point of order. And you asked specifically which point of order. Then he said the Honorable Deputy Minister is misleading the House. Mr. Speaker, I want him to show me specifically which provisions of our standing orders say that he can rise on a point of order claiming that a member is misleading House. Mr. Speaker, let me read the Order 122 from beginning to end, because all our, what do they call it? Our viewers are here, the televisions are on. 122 says, debate may be interrupted, A, by a point of order being raised, B, by a matter of privilege suddenly arising, C, by a point of information, elucidation, or clarification. There's nothing about misleading the House. D, by attention being called to the absence of a quorum. E, by attention being called to the presence of a stranger in the House. F, upon a point of procedure. These are the grounds for interrupting a debate. And if you want to further raise a point of order, you must also go to content of speech. That is Order 1, 2, 3. And show that the speech being made by the person on whom you are raising a point of order violates the provisions of Order 1, 2, 3 on the content of a speech. And it also says that a member or a person entitled to participate in a debate shall not make reference to any matter on which judicial decision is pending. So judicial decision pending, you can't comment on it. So a point of order can be raised. A member shall not use offensive, abusive, insulting, blasphemous, or unbecoming words, or impute improper motives, or impugn the integrity of a member. So those are the grounds on which you can say that a member is out of order because the content of his speeches violates these orders. And then, members shall not raise any specific question upon which the House has come to a conclusion during the current session. That is 5. And then, 6, the speech of a member shall be relevant to the subject matter under consideration. These are the matters that content of speech allow you to raise a point of order. I have heard people now and again rise up and say the member is misleading the House. No specific provision grounds you to raise a point by saying that this member is misleading the House. So the Honorable Minority Leader should show us specifically which provision of our standing orders he is standing on to interrupt debate.
Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, very good exercise indeed. I earlier on saw the Honorable Majority Leader rise on his feet to interrupt Honorable Patrick Bawumia. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable gentleman who leads this House did not cite any order. And I heard him, I was watching him. In fact, his attempt excited my entry into this chamber. He said that the NDC did not state in their manifesto that they were going to impose a state of... He is known for convenience. Even when he himself had argued that when a matter is pending before court, this House should stay its hands. He is the same person to quickly say that even when a matter is pending before court, the House is not stopped. This is Ayariga. Even when a matter is pending before court, the House is not stopped. This is Ayariga for you. That is Ayariga, the convenience principle. He has introduced a convenience principle. So, Mr. Speaker, if he's saying that he's reading of Order 122, there is no, can the majority leader keep quiet and gently listen? Because that's what I did. That is the rule. You must keep quiet and listen. Mr. Speaker, the Order 122 upon which I mounted my argument of point of order is very clear. Mr. Speaker, at what point do you interrupt debate? The content of the speech is misleading. If a member argues that ECG has had increase in revenue as a result of prudence, what's the meaning of prudence? Meaning that previously the management of funds led to some waste. However, under this new management, they have taken some steps. Therefore, those steps have led to an increase in revenue. Mr. Speaker, first of all, when they were in opposition, they criticized the Haptel software machinery that has been put in place. They came, it's the same Haptel system that is there. 2, we are telling you that the increase in revenue is as a result of the 18% tariff adjustment. That is one. 2,
Honorable Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, when the majority leader on his feet, you never ask him a question.
Yes,
this is becoming one too many. I won't accept this. You allow him to speak. When he gets to us, then you start asking questions. Why didn't you interrupt him? Mr. Speaker, don't do this.
Which question did I ask you?
Don't do this. Whenever they are
Minority Leader, which question did I ask you? Which question did I ask you?
Mr. Speaker, you never interrupted him. When he was on his feet,
which question did I ask you?
Mr. Speaker, when he was on his feet,
Minority Leader,
not a word came from you.
Honorable Minority Leader, you can have a disagreement with what he, the Deputy Finance Minister, is saying. You have the opportunity to debate. You have indicated that if the revenue was increased, it's because they have increased the tariff. If in his opinion that is prudent, that he is entitled to it. So that cannot amount to misleading the House. So, Honorable Minority Leader, you have the opportunity. You can disagree with him, but your disagreement with what he is saying will not amount to a point of order within the meaning of the rules.
Mr. Speaker, you have made a good call. Earlier, you ruled, and upon ruling, I resume my seat. You, however, granted the space for the majority leader to come in to now ask me a specific question. Mr. Speaker, he asked me a question on procedure. You allowed him to flow until he finished. Mr. Speaker, you can hear him, you see? Now, you gave me the opportunity to respond to him because I had yielded to your ruling. But because you gave him the opportunity to ask me a direct question on Order 122 and 123, it was therefore important to come back to explain to him the mainstay of my argument. So, Mr. Speaker, if you are keeping to your ruling, I will yield because, Mr. Speaker, if you rule, that is the order.
Yes,
but
that
Mr.
is
Speaker,
exactly what I'm trying to do.
Mr. Speaker, again, the rule on fairness also requires that both sides must be treated fairly. Mr. Speaker, if you have ruled on my matter, then what was the basis for he coming back as if he is a presiding officer? Mr. Speaker, he came back really reading the same rules again and going on to say that I should answer. These were his words. And you asked that Honorable Minority Leader respond. That is why I was responding. So, Mr. Speaker, if this is your ruling, so be it. I take it.
Very well.
Thank you so much.
Very well. Thank you. Yes, Honorable Deputy Minister, conclude.
Mr. Speaker, in Akan, when a leader leads an army to war and he returns victorious,
Honorable,
he's given
you
the
have 1 minute
title
more.
Osahene. But when the leader goes to war with a contingent of 137 and returns with only 78, he is referred to as Osakwa. Mr. Speaker,
What is the meaning?
I was on the point.
What is the meaning?
That EC, a slave to war. Mr. Speaker, I was making the point that the energy sector is now being prudently managed. And coincidentally, the energy minister has just walked in. Mr. Speaker, he was questioning the prudence that I was talking about. And Mr. Speaker, the prudence is where ECG today is not procuring things that they don't need.
Honorable Minister. Honorable Member, your time is up. I will proceed to give the floor to Honorable Isaac Buama Nyako. You have 10 minutes.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to comment on the statement read by the Finance Minister with regards to the 2026 budget statement. Mr. Speaker, let me commence by speaking to one or two of the issues raised by the Deputy Finance Minister. Unfortunately, the Deputy Finance Minister, for the past 15 minutes, never commented on the budget that he himself has supported in presenting to the House. He only came in to comment on remarks that have been passed by the minority, to which he thinks he disagreed. That tells us as a House that the budget that was presented by the Finance Minister is not fit for purpose and lacks substance. Mr. Speaker, the 2026 budget is a run-off to the 2025 budget. And so the 2025 budget, it will entitle us to interrogate and find out what were the issues that were promised in 2025 and what had been the government's performance in 2025 before we can even have something to comment on the 2026 budget. Because as the Finance Minister said, why would you say that an allocation for 30 billion big push is a bad budget? Why would you say 825 million to construct 1,000 kilometers of agri roads are a bad budget? Why would you say 100 million for aquaculture is a bad budget? Allocation is not release. So the same way you allocated in 2025, allocation for women's banking, 50 million, it never came to pass. Allocation for quotas, 50 million, it never came to pass. It is for the same reason why we cannot trust the allocations in the 2026 budget. Because if wishes were horses, beggars will ride. Mr. Speaker, let's go into the 2025 budget as was presented and it's being looked at. At page 151, Appendix 1, yes, 151, Appendix 1C. It talks about the general performance, the growth performance of government between 2025 and 2026.
That is 2025 budget.
No, 2026. I'm referring to
2026 budget.
That is so.
Okay, but you said 2025. That is what I mean.
No, 2026 budget. Mr. Speaker, the theme of the budget itself is talking about resetting for growth, jobs, and economic transformation. Yet, when you look at the budget itself, there is very little that speaks into promoting growth, promoting jobs, and bringing transformation. I'm saying this in the context of industry because the employment situation in this country is hinged on how well government is resourcing industry and the service sector for growth. In page 151 under industry, the industry in 2024 grew by 7.1%. However, in 2025, it is growing, or it grew by 3.6%, a whopping decline of 100% in terms of growth in the industry. If you go under industry, Mr. Speaker, the major areas that propel growth under industry is manufacturing and then construction. If you go under manufacturing, the industry in 2024 grew by 19.1%. The industry in manufacturing grew by 3.9% in 2024. And it is just growing, according to government, at 4.0, which is flat. When you go to construction, in 2024, it grew by 9.6% in 2024. But in 2025, it grew by 2.9%. Mr. Speaker, 9.6% to 2.9%. And these are the areas that the Ghanaian people are seeking for employment. These are the areas that affect the growth and development of the youth. However, you are dealing with all the macroeconomic indicators. Interest rate has fallen, all of the CD depreciation. But where is it hitting the pockets of the unemployed youth in this country? Mr. Speaker, go to service industry. The minister said service industry is growing by 6.4% in 2025 as against 5.4%. But check the detail of the service industry. The detail when you take trade, repair of vehicles and household. This is what the Aboso kind people want to see growth so that they can employ people. 2024, it grew by 3.6. 2025 is growing by 3.1, a decline. Hotels and restaurants, where Ghanaian industries are looking at creating jobs. In 2024, it grew by 4.8%. In 2025, it's growing by 3.5%, a decline in the growth of it. Mr. Speaker, go to transport and storage. In 2024, 5.8%. In 2025, 3.5%. The entire areas of growth that will propel employment for the youth are all on a decline. So what is the government telling us when it comes to employment? You are saying that you are going to employ over 800,000 people. However, in 2025, you couldn't tell Ghanaians the number of jobs that you have created. Mr. Speaker, let me move into the revenue situation. In the revenue situation, if you check the government, revenue has fallen from 189 billion to 186 billion. This, if you check the indirect tax, it has also fallen. So government doesn't even have the revenue to grow this economy. In 2026, government is still projecting higher revenue. Yet it has not put in place strategies to collect revenue to grow the economy. Mr. Speaker, check the tax refund. Government reduced it from 6% to 4%. Yet the refund for the year 2025 and 2026, under page 154, if you go into the refund, it is all on a decline. Check the refund position. And so, Mr. Speaker, there is very little that gives hope to employment for the youth of this country. Speaker, the VAT reform that the minister talked about, consolidating VAT to 20% from 21.9% that he talked about. The real estate sector is supposed to be charged a whopping 20% of tax out of 5% that they were paying under real estate. And so housing deficit is going to increase in this country, and the real estate is going to collapse under this government. Mr. Speaker, let me move on to the energy sector, where my good brother John Napo is here. Page 118, paragraph 900 of the budget. He's saying that Ghana's oil production has witnessed consistent decline over the years, falling from 71 million barrels in 2019 to 36 million in 2025, almost 50 million decline. That is our budget talking to us. Yet there is no strategic direction in improving or increasing our petroleum sector. Yesterday, the minister brought out Springfield, that they are taking away indigenous Ghanaian companies from the energy sector upstream. I'm asking the minister, when did they go into taking the foreign entities and now they are going into Ghanaian companies to take it? In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, I believe that the 2026 budget doesn't provide hope for the teeming youth of this country. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues on the other side should tell me, In the year 2025, how many people have you employed in your constituencies? Tell me, in the year 20, all of you are chasing for jobs. You can't find them. Even in the military, when they were doing recruitment, over 80,000 applied, and then 6 had to perish because of your mismanagement and the way you are doing the recruitment at the military sector. And so, Mr. Speaker, I am saying that the youth want credible opportunities for job creation. It is not just about the macroeconomic indicators. It is about strategic thinking in promoting economic activities. And I am saying that the productive sectors of this economy has not been touched. Government only promises with allocation. They don't give releases. Ministries, departments, and agencies have not gotten what they require even to grow their ministries. And that is why all of us sitting in this chamber, we can talk about the macro indices, but we are looking at ourselves miserable. My communities are poor. The economy is looking macroeconomic right, but our pockets are dry. Mr. Speaker, the minister has to check on it. I thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, permit me to acknowledge the presence of food science and technology from the northern region, specifically Sanarigu. They are led by Sam, lecturer, and they are from Sanarigu municipality. The number is 73. Our members, we also have UPSA, led by Richard Yao Fiajo. Group leader, they are in Madina. The number 56. On your behalf, I welcome all of them. May you have a fruitful stay. Honourable members at Conclave, we agreed to take 30 minutes break, and this is the point to take the said 30 minutes break. Honourable members, my time is 3:26. We are coming back exactly at 4 o'clock. So accordingly, the House is temporarily suspended.